Hello, Deanna with Divine Destiny. I am coming to you today on December 30th. We are just getting ready to close out 2019. We are closing out a decade going into 2020. I symbolically, like 2020, what do the eye doctors call 2020 perfect vision? So to me, that is a huge thing. Our soul chose to be here at this time. We're really restructuring a lot of things. These things that I'm about to share today are very noteworthy because even if you know nothing about astrology, it is going to have an impact on everybody. This is a global shift from separation, fear consciousness into oneness consciousness. And in order to do that, we have to have old structures fall away and head towards the north node, right? Where we want to head going into 2020 and beyond. Gaining clarity with our vision, our insight, our intuition, trusting that more and more. And in order to do that, like I said, we have to have old structures fall away. There's a lot of support there in the cosmos. If you've been embracing the shift changing all through 2019 and prior, depending on when you woke up, then this is going to support you in a phenomenal way. If you've been putting your heels in the dirt, then I don't like to do warnings, but just realize that if you've been programmed by somebody else's belief system, it is going to be very, very difficult for you to transition into clarity of that 2020 vision going forward. My purpose of this today is to share, so even if you know nothing about astrology, come and join me. I'm learning myself. My spiritual awakening made me realize the significance of astrology, and so it is a passion of mine to share. We have the huge support system, always utilizing this to evolve our souls. So I want to start out with the lunar eclipse we have coming on January 10th. This lunar eclipse happens in the sign of Cancer, which is a water sign. This is very representative of the Divine Mother, and the North Node is in Cancer, so that's where we all want to head collectively. Again, stellium in Capricorn, this is going to start happening about January 11th, 12th. Saturn, 22 degrees. Saturn, the ruler of time, so to speak. There's many different representations of all these planets. Just get the gist of it with me. Breathe this into your heart space. Be open to it. Pluto, 22 degrees. Mercury, 20 degrees. And the sun. The sun to me represents our soul, right? And Mercury, our communication. Pluto, the dark, death and rebirth, but not in a nasty way. The Pluto, the things of the underworld that have been hidden. Saturn, all of these things in Capricorn, which are the structures that we've been running on other people's programs. This could be politicians. This could be corporations that don't have the better, higher good for the collective in all life. We're all sovereign beings, and so this stellium that's going to be taking place in Capricorn is a huge, huge time for, if it's not of authenticity, it will fall away. So just keep that in mind. It's not the time to be allowing yourself to be programmed by the fear, whether it be division of religion, whether it be the news who love to instill fear. This is really us gaining our clarity in 2020 vision going forward and allowing these old structures that have been built on lies. And whatever your belief system is just a belief system. Until you sit in your quietness, into your heart space, embrace your own truth, then that's when you really go forward and evolution of your soul. Collectively, this is on. This is globally for the Saturn-Pluto conjunct that is happening on January 12th. This is Saturn 0 degrees, Pluto 0 degrees. They're conjunct, meaning side by side in Capricorn. This is our structures. Like I've said before on my channel, Saturn represents the bones, the teeth. That is our structure within us. The structures of political, financial, corporation, religion, all needs to crumble. It's been out of balance for so long. I do believe this conjunct. I believe Saturn and Pluto, don't quote me on this, only meet up with each other about every 33 to 38 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's a huge thing in Capricorn. Realize that all these systems that have been in place for so long were not for justice and equality for all of us. And so just keep that in mind, that all through 2020, 2021, I do believe into 2023, we're in this dismantling phase of systems basically that have gone wrong, that were not for the betterment of all sovereign beings, all life, humans, animals, planet Gaia herself. 4-year coming up in 2020 also with that vision. And if you think about it, 2020 vision, clarity, 2 can also represent duality. But if you're in harmony within yourself, the 4, rebuilding the structures, the body, Mercury with your belief system, your thoughts, Sun, the stellium in Capricorn, Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, Sun, the Sun representing your soul. We're light beings. And the truth of the matter, it is, if we listen to our heart, we're listening to the light that we truly are, aside from just this body. So we're really, with it being an earthy sign in Capricorn, the restructure of that. Mercury, a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating, and it's all bringing us back to who we truly are, which is the oneness. And Capricorn, very representative of the Divine Father. So it's restructuring what man and ego has done, which is separate. And restructuring us going towards the North Node is just huge, because that's the Divine Mother. That's nurturing. That's treating yourself with love and compassion. Therefore, treating others the same. And this goes across the board. This is global. Even if you know nothing about astrology, it's happening. And the support that we have here is to realize that all these structures that we're built on, the dark underworld, so to speak, right? Very representative of Pluto, have to die, have to fall away. And in order to do that, we may, with our visual eyes, see a lot of drama unfolding. I'm going to encourage you very much so to not ignore that, but disconnect from that. Really rebuild the structure within you of oneness consciousness, that we're all connected, and go forward with that mindset. This is not going to be a one and done thing. This is going to be a process. Now, on January 11th, right after this, energy's still all there from the lunar eclipse in Cancer, which is very representative of the nurturing and the Divine Mother. We have the stellium of uprooting all these things globally for all in Capricorn, the Divine Father. This is symbolically, so as above, so below, and as within you, also out there, because we're all connected. Uranus goes direct. Uranus in Taurus will be activated through 2026, I believe in April. Taurus is a fixed earth sign that is about our values, and it's about what really matters to us. It's ruled by Venus, so, divine feminine coming into its power. Uranus stations direct on the 11th, so it's going to be pausing there, right? Just symbolically, just pausing there. Uranus symbolic of quick change, like lightning fast change, also energy, lightning. It can also be a renewal. This can be an inventive power as well if it's in harmony. So Uranus is about a 7-year cycle through each sign. And so it's generational. And I look to my chart and I'm right on the cusp of like Virgo, Libra. It depends on where it is in your chart, where you're going to see probably the most sudden changes. And it's really Uranus and Taurus wanting us to get back to the bare basics, to the fundamental things that really matter, and understanding that our core values should be the love, the compassion, and the ability to have structures and community that are built on authenticity. And so we have such a huge, this was so noteworthy of coming on and sharing. If you've been doing your work, Saturn, the great teacher, will reward you with, there's no such thing as negative karma, bad karma. To me, personally, my perspective, it is simply what we put out there will come back to us. So it's a huge time, if you've not already been diving deep into your internal work, right? And getting into your heart space and going by your own internal knowingness, very intuitive also, right? Cancer, the divine mother, very intuitive in that heart space. Trusting that, Mercury being communication, trusting going forward our intuition more than ever, because really it's stripping down Pluto, ego death for humans. If you're in a vessel, you have an ego. Has it been, in harmony? And have you been driving by your heart space? Or have you been out of harmony and driving with this mind and your values, Uranus and Taurus? Have they been materialism and consumerism? Because push, pull, or drag, really, going into this, the support is there for us to get back to the bare basics of what really matters with life. And this is all life. So the hierarchy that's been created, when you first wake up, it's alarming. It's like, whoa, I just stepped out of a matrix that's been nothing but fear and doubt and using power in a negative way. Like religion of all kinds have used power of limiting us to think that we can't have a divine connection with God ourselves. You got to go to somebody and confess your sins, which are really supposed to be mistakes that we learn from. No, we have that ability. We have that God connection right within us. So it's a super important time going forward. I feel so optimistic myself. I've been on the journey about 5 years, but I don't believe I've ever been completely asleep and in the program. And so death and rebirth with Pluto, we go through constant cycles of death and rebirth symbolically, right? And so allowing the death of all these things with this Capricorn energy, Saturn and Pluto, allowing these things to fall away and being open to the changes for all of us sovereign beings. And I really feel a beautiful, I've been saying this as long as I started my channel, of getting back to the bare values, Uranus and Taurus, of embodying the fact and the power that we're very divine, very connected to all things. Gaia, the womb of the mother, supporting us, sustaining us. We can't go forward. We want all these structures to fall away. I mean, we can't deplete the soil, the earth, and the mistreatment of animals is horrific to me as an empath. And who's to say that an animal with a soul doesn't have value? Who's to say that? Everything has value. Everything was created here on this planet. And so really getting back to the essence and the true core of our values with Uranus and Taurus. And that will be a lot of lightning fast, quick changes all the way through, like I said, April 2026. The biggest thing is people who have been out of balance have realized the significance of programming people into fear, separation, fighting amongst each other, And really the media playing on that, whether it be different colored skin or gender or whatever, all these things that are in duality. And that's a huge thing to keep your awareness with this being a year 4. Saturn 22 degrees, Pluto 22 degrees on the 11th, 12th. Lots of 2s. So remember that there also can be the flip side of that, of a lot of duality. And so bring your awareness to that and don't bite into the dramas, because I'm pretty sure the media, if you're still in the program of news, I'm sure they'll give you enough things to fear. And fear is the lowest vibration for mankind. We were meant to be here in our wholeness. We were meant to be here in our oneness with each other and all things connected. And religion has shamed astrology. It's shamed you for being a dirty little sinner and gonna get thrown into hell. It's shamed you for having your own internal compass, right? And so it's really a beautiful time going into the age of Aquarius. But this isn't going to be a one and done thing. This is a process. It didn't happen overnight that all of the fear-based duality and separation occurred, and it was all done by man. As far as my perspective, just take what resonates, leave the rest, but God consciousness is love, period. We were not created here to feel like shame and guilt and dirty and, what kind of father is going to throw their child into eternal hell for making mistakes, quote, sin. So just keep that in mind. And the Uranus in Taurus, remember this as well. It's lightning bolt changes. It's fast. It'll rock you to your core if you're not open to all these shifts and changes right now. Even if you are, be open to the shifts and the changes. Everything is. Our planet, we have support here from our galactic family, star seeds, Pleiadians, many other light beings that are watching what our small little planet and mankind is doing on this place called Earth. And that's another thing I want to say too. I always thought it was quite funny that humans are so arrogant to think that there's not other life out there other than us. Just a thought. It's a beautiful time to just keep in mind all of the support that we have here. If you're not already on this journey, share in the comments how you're doing, or possibly how it is that you can step out of the program that has been laid by man, of the program of fear, because love is the most powerful energy there is. If you're new to my channel today and this resonates with you, please do take my perspective to heart. I am a humanitarian by nature. I have a lot of stuff in Libra where it's about fairness and justice. My main purpose of this channel is to encourage you, every one of you sensitives, to step into your authenticity. That's where the true power lies. Drop the programs of everything that anybody else has programmed you in, whether it be the school systems that will also need to change too, because that's another structure, right, with Capricorn. The political crap that they separate, divide us, and then feed off of that. Mercury, a new way of thinking for yourself. And the sun, by listening to your soul, because we chose to be here at this time, and we know on a soul level that we have a duty here to anchor our light and be in that love and compassion, and the Divine Mother hugely supporting us right now. That's where we go to for the true love and compassion, and allow that to rise up within you, within me. And so I think it's just a beautiful, very lots of changes, a lot of shifting. The planet herself is shifting. If you're not outside every day, it's very clear to me that we are in the shift. And so listen to your heart and soul. It will never steer you wrong. Don't allow other people to project their fears, their doubts, their programs onto you. Remember that we all have that connection with God consciousness, because we are sparks of that, every single one of us. Don't allow it anymore to put you into fear or separation, competition mode. Those days are done. It's all going to be pretty much any of the structures that have been hiding in the dark. There's going to be a lot of revelations coming forward, and it may appear to look very nasty and gnarly to your two eyes. Just remember, these things were always here, and that we are in a time where we're stepping into a new way. And so take that forward with you going into the age of Aquarius, because I feel very optimistic. And quite frankly, all of the internal, my soul taking in and trusting my own intuition has been the biggest, powerful, life-transforming thing. And so I really just want that for everybody. So if this resonates today, please do like my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell when I send out new content. I am learning astrology. My main purpose of that is utilizing it within my vessel to anchor in, Uranus and Taurus, my true values, and being embodied as a spiritual being in our vessels right now at this time, going forward with that. Super powerful. Can be very beautiful. I personally want to share this as well. A lot of the people that are so programmed into, the generations of news and religion being so programmed into them and not being open in the heart to see a different perspective in a different way, I believe they're going to be leaving their bodies over the next few years. So just keep that in mind. Death and rebirth, it's just an ending of one form so that we can rebirth and resurrect. And so to me, I feel like that's the true revelations, is that we're all going into this self-mastery, which was intended in the first place. It was never intended for this man over here to be high on the hog, and then this person, their life doesn't matter. It makes no sense, does it? So just really think about that. And I'm going to close this up with a mystical shaman oracle for everybody. End of a year. Your soul already knows this is an internal time of letting go. So if you're having things come up within you right now, really sit with them. I just did a YouTube the other day about the importance of facing your fears, and whether that just be a lower density of people triggering you or whatever it may be. Just use that for an example. If somebody triggers you, thank them. Don't go into your ego and start attacking the person. You're just shooting the messenger by doing that. So really just think about that. Trusting your own intuition, allowing whatever triggers come within you, allowing whatever comes up in your feelings. I encourage that always on my channel. With us being empaths, don't snuff anything. That's where your true power comes. The deeper you go and dive into those wounds, right? The wounded healer, the more you evolve and rise out of the ashes. And it's a process. It's not a one and done thing. So from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, we are just going to go with one message to close this up today. Really utilize the support that we have right now collectively. As above, so below. As within, so without. Card number 51, the Staff. This is standing upright. This is roll your shoulders back and realize the divine sovereign being that you are, firmly anchored in the earth. Bring in the spiritual aspect of who you truly are as a sovereign being. Roll those shoulders back. Be proud, not in an egoic way, but very sure of yourself, trusting your intuition and your soul's guidance. 5 + 1 is 6. This is a very highly spiritual number. This is harmony. 6 represents cooperative. So really being anchored into your body. I say this often, but it's so true collectively where we're going. Being anchored in your truth, not a belief system that was laid down by somebody else, because that's just a belief system. That's not your truth. So utilize this. Roll your shoulders back. Drive your vessel from your heart and soul, and you won't go wrong. This is, see that on the third eye. Being all-seeing, using all of your senses, which are far more than just your two eyes. So beautiful message today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're a returning listener, thanks so much for being here. I am Deanna with Divine Destiny. I have a Facebook page group, I should say. It is Divine Destiny and the Rise of Empaths. If you're new today and interested in joining that, answer the questions. I'm looking for true interaction there, and there's a handful of us that are. There's only like 40-some members. There's going to be some more changes and shifts to that as well. I was back and forth on leaving it open or closed for sharing, because I would love things to be able to be shared from there. I honored somebody else's wishes by not liking the fact that it was going to be open, and lesson learned, won't do that again. I'm going to go by my own truth, my own heart. So stay anchored in who you are. And if you're new to my YouTube channel today, please do like, subscribe, and share if it resonates with your heart and soul. And I look forward to sharing with you very soon. Namaste.